Okay, today is a special day. We're going to talk about motivation, and this is the core of how we stay in momentum. Our motivation needs to come from within. We can be motivated by external factors on certain occasions, on the most on a regular basis. Most of the time, we want to stay internally motivated. And how do we do that? Well, even the most motivated person, you can think of like a Tony Robbins or somebody who is super hyper and motivated. Even someone like that can feel unmotivated and at times can wake up and just not really get it going and need an actual boost to get those juices flowing so that way they can get back into momentum. In fact, sometimes you can get in such a slump that you can develop a mental block and start doing what we call self-sabotage, and we all have experienced this. And even if you are in a rut, and even if you're sitting and can't get any positive ideas, this is the best time to start getting those juices flowing and get that internal dialogue that builds momentum. Otherwise, we stay stagnant and apathy can set in, and then things that we're working on start to disappear and it can even disintegrate. And this is a lot of the times I see in startup businesses where the motivation just fithers out, and there's no motivation coming from the sales team, there's no motivation coming from the operations, and there's no motivation coming from the clients. And that weighs down on the owners and the founders and the C-suite to where they lose that integrity to want to stay in the moment, and things start to fizzle away. Instead of allowing that to happen, we control how the next step is going to be. So today's goal is what we are going to do is we're going to identify what excites and motivates us and inspires us. We've talked about this before. Inspiration is key, and it's inside for us to be able to ignite. So think about those things that ignite you, think about those things that motivate you, and then you want to make sure you reach in your mind the goal that you set. See what it looks like and play it out as if it has already happened, and make that a regular practice to keep yourself internally motivated. Now, why do we do this? We want to make sure we do this to stay proactive and keep us from losing those valuable hours and days and weeks that we're sitting there working on to make sure that we can get things going. We want to stay inspired, and we want to stay inspired from within. So that motivation is an internal motivation. We want to stay internally motivated and then have our focus be on the external world. So we can focus on what's happening, and based on what our actions are doing, we can see in reality how things are starting to transpire. And at the same time, we are looking inside to find the motivation to keep moving forward. So I want you to take this time to really think about what is exciting you and move forward with momentum from an internal motivation standpoint. And take those actions from the vision that you have. When you set that vision, you want to make sure you're attaching the actions that you want to do in order to achieve that vision, and see that play out in your mind. And start expanding on the things that you're thinking about rather than allowing them to dissipate through a pattern of a rut or a feeling of inadequacy, because it is you. It is all in your mind. It is your thoughts, your mind, your vision, your actions that will dictate your outcomes. And we can all play that out within our own internal dialogue. So write down in the comments what inspires you, what's motivating you today from an internal perspective, and I will see you on the other side.